Okay, in page with the base in the middle of the mime, R'Dovid Olidort Drashbi. So he started talking about till this point. Page he spoke about the famous expression in Zoya, class Davido, the three objects that connect, which is the soul, the Isaac, and each one is Tzasim Begalia. And the normal way of the way it works is that the low madrig of the eye higher is connected to the higher madrig of the low. In other words, the Tzasim, the soul, connects to the Galia, the Kuchabrichon. The Tzasim, the Isaac connects to the Tzasim, the soul connects to the Galia of the Isaac. And the Tzasim of the Isaac connects to the Galia of the Kuchabrichon. That is the normal way of things. Now he started saying that Matan Torah, there was a different channel, a direct Amshocha from the higher madrig of the low, higher into the higher madrig of the lower. We'll start again.
So that's like a chain. That's like a chain.
The original way is like a chain, but the second way is not like a chain. The original is like a chain. The bottom of the top ring is connected to the top of the bottom ring. Right, that's like a chain, right? But the Chiddush here is nice. That's what he's talking till now. And now in Shoah Mascheles Shalohem in page Shalom the base, which is like about I think about a third from the bottom around. We learned it already. We want to repeat it because this is a new topic. So everything we learned till now is the Prince say the dog and orderly in a gradual manner. Top, beginning and end, top and bottom. So Matan Torah was a disruption. We call modern terms disruption. It wasn't a standard orderly way of connection, but there was a unique disruption. Also, the neshamas got not until now. We understood it until now the way it's like in the marshal of the chain. That the pnimis of his soul got only the chitzonius there, and the pnimis of Torah got only the chitzonius of the Shabbat. But Matan Torah, there was a unique new channel. There was a direct line from the pnimis of Shabbat, the pnimis to pnimis the and the pnimis the soul. Shekosov, and there's a pasuk that brings out this point. Ponim b'fonim divrei imochem. That the Eibishter spoke to the Eden. Ponim b'fonim from the pnimis of the Kadosh Baruch Hu to the pnimis of Bnei Yisrael. She'ozah yagil pnimis v'asam Kadosh Baruch Hu v'herais of pnimis the neshamas. So we see here that it's a different way of doing things. It's a much higher level of gil. Earlier in the Maimar, he explained that the different pnimis chitzonius and machshav and dibo. Dibo is the chitzonius, machshav is the pnimis. How can you say that Matar was pnimis was with dibo? Everything was expressed. Maimar onoichi avayla kecha. The Rebbe said onoichi. So it's dibo, it's chitzonius. Why does it say pnimis? Similarly, why do you say that the Amshach was in the pnimis of neshama? Is we see that the Amshach was in the shamas the way they were goof. It's like we explained earlier. There's the chitzonius and neshama is the goof. Mazel sheben neshama, mazelai chaz. That's the pnimis. So over here is neshama is the goof. Sharilay neshama is the ma'anas neshama teir. It's not that the neshama is elevated, we're ascending to the ma'ala, and that's where they got the teir. Eine Madrege schein auf eine Schmacham Clarkim darf beguf. It's not a question and answer. It says, if I think the remez here is that it also is the chitzonius. Not, the fact that it was bedibo and the shamas the guf doesn't mean that it was only chitzonius. There was a pnimis. The pnimis reached the chitzonius. So this unique, it's, when you think about it, it's an interesting point we made here. Until now, like I'm repeating myself a little bit. Until now, the way described the soul Isaac Shabbat, this is Kaviyachol, the way Shtalsh was set up originally before Matan Torah came into the picture. And I'd like to remember also we learned another memory that the Chiddush is Matan Torah. Before Matan Torah, things are going to the normal order. The normal order of things is that the Pnimis Hatach, gets from the top of the alien. So the stack of the rice, the salt, the shabrich, all is good and fine, but the connection, the relation between each and the other, between each other, is in a gradual and orderly and limited way. That is the Chiddush of Matan Torah. This entire process is broken, and there's a new view. As nice as so till now we're talking about Matan Torah, but a unique thing that happened only once in the history. So it's a great thing. It says no, the effect of Matan Torah affects our life, our experience even now. Even now, when we learn Chitzenis at when we learn Nigler, even there we take this Pnimis of Torah and not on the Pnimis of Torah, Pnimis of Kutshabrich. Actually, there's a Maimar Chazal to prove this point. What does Chazal say? It's not in Gemara.
So I'm sorry. So now every part is connected with everything.
Exactly. That's the Chiddush of Matan Torah. Yeah.
Okay.
Not just my everything, but the deepest. So this is Marum, and this Maimar Chazal. Actually, this is a Maimar Chazal. It's not a Gemara Maimar Chazal. It's a shtick. I don't even know if it's some medrash that's brought in the Akdam of Ramban to the Shem Pirush. A few other small sources to that. What does the Chazal say? It's not just reading a story or laws. You're reading the Hebrews' names. So again, this itself can also we can explain it a few ways, but the way he explains it here is Koyre Galia. Koyre means you read. Reading is something external. And what do you read? You read words, letters. Again, it's a chiddush. Sometimes shmoisov, we learn that sometimes name means something external, but he says no. In our case, means shemes atzmim, loy shemesh apnes hagilut. As he doesn't. It's not. There's no proof for that pshat, but that's pshat. That is pshat in the Maimar Chazal. Doesn't mean chitzayin is the part of shmois HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It means shmois atz, shemes atz. So that's more than another pasuk in Maimar Chazal. Another pasuk. So we learned in the parsha not long. We learned the parshas Eikev. V'achil chasamon ashledat u'ena v'secho. Man ha'diacha ki lo yalachem levad yechiyodem kol kamoitze pi'avai yechiyodem. Says the pshat al pi chsidus. What does it mean? Lechem chitzenis haTorah. We know from other sources that Torah is called lechem. It says in pasuk l'chol lachma b'lachmi. That's I think that is. The point is that Torah lechem here in this pasuk, in addition to the simple pshat in the pasuk, there's a remes in the pasuk. Lechem means chitzenis haTorah. Commotion is slapshal v'arbiurim. That's lechem in this pasuk according to the pshat he learns here. Obviously, it's not a simple pshat. It's a remes. So lechem means Torah. Now, not stam Torah, it means chitzenis haTorah, which is slapshal v'arbiurim. Torah is compared if you look at Midrashim, Torah is compared to lechem, yayin, shemen, mayim. It's a lot of. Remember, I learned earlier. Yeah, I think what was it in this Maimar, the previous Maimar, yayin, shemen. There's a lot of objects that Torah is compared to. But one of the things it's compared to is lechem, and we know it from a lot of places, also from Tanya Perik Hey. He talks about the difference between mitzvahs and Torah. Mitzvahs are levushim, and Torah is mazon, food. The ultimate food is lechem. The chiyuv to eat food, the chiyuv seudah. What is the seudah? The lechem. Lechem is the food. What food? So the part of Torah that's called food, that's chitzenis haTorah. So we may according to that understanding what lechem means. What does the pasuk lo lechem mean? Zek lo lechem levad yechiyodem means lo lechem is chitzenis haTorah levad yechiyodem. When you learn Torah, It's not just lechem levade. You don't get only the chitzonius, kalkamoitze piavai, and moka piavai. Means that within the chitzonius atera, the chitzonius that contains within itself pnimis atera. So okay, so this is only to that particular point that we learn chitzonius atera, it also contains pnimis atera. That's a remez, and that in that pasuk, it's one remez. Now we have another source that's explained. That's a pasuk we say. Say it, David. It's a pasuk. What is dvorai? My words that I put in your mouth. That's mean. This dvorai. It's another one. Dvorai. Hainu malchus. Finis malchus. That zilus malchus da. Dvorai refers to the very high level of malchus that zilus and malchus da. The inner what's meant this? The inner turn is the slapship finis biur. The bar biur. The function of the Torah is, which means obviously it was chitzonius Torah. He goes into what he's doing now is going into a more elaborate exploration, the details of what the parts of Torah, the nigel and pnimis, and other nigel contains the pnimis. The function of Torah is to be varish be'ur. And the truth is, which means, like we all know, what does Torah do? Torah comes and tells us, you open the Shulchan Aruch, we open Torah, Torah tells us, do this, don't do this way, that way. That's like called biur. That means your functions to elevate, to refine. Sorry, give me 1 second, please. Okay. Okay, so Torah, the function of Torah is the power that Torah has to be mevar, to elevate reality, comes from that madrega of Torah, which is called the Eitz HaChaim. Eitz HaChaim ila marzikim bo, right?
Eitz HaChaim refers to the pnimius.
Sorry, 1 second, something happened. Okay. Yeah. Okay, the whole point of Eitz HaChaim, the Rebbe Rashab, is about Eitz HaChaim, it's pnimis Torah, but the power that Torah has to be mevar is from Eitz HaChaim. It's, I mean, in slapshus, Rebbe it's a das. That's a, if you learn Yos HaKodesh, Simon Chavov, I think, that brings from Zohar, that pnimis Torah, it's called Eitz HaChaim, and the last time on Kushia, it's all everything is about holiness, and neither the Torah is called Eitz Das, because it's lapsus. It's a das. Like I said, the function of Torah is to tell you Torah in the nigel of the Torah, the halacha, the chilek halacha shebet Torah. The nigel of the Torah deals with our reality. Shnayim erzim betalis, shosh neres sapora, things that are our reality, and it tells us how to deal with it. So that's its lapsus. That's what it says. The power to be mevar to Eitz Das comes from Eitz HaChaim. And that's the meaning, what the expression Kabbalah, the bottom says, that the build, the elevation, the refinement of everything is b'chokhmah to the madrega of Chokhmah. That's what the Chassidus brings from Zohar. By the way, it's one of these expressions. The Rebbe, there's all of the Rebbe somewhere in the Friedrichs Memorim. that direct quote, "B'chachma is b'riro," I think is not, doesn't really, we don't really find it in the sources that we have. But the point is the chachma, ain't a kavana chachma agluyo, the power to be mevar doesn't come from chachma agluyo, chachma shebe'atzis. Okay. All right, so it's almost like a little detour. In the middle of discussing the point that nigul Torah also contains pnimis Torah. So to do that, he brought two sources. One source, number one, was kilel lechem levada, which means lechem chitzenis, and that's the ichiyodam. That's not the only thing in this concept. Ichiyodam doesn't mean simple that the person's life is sustained to food. It means lechem is Torah. Torah is not what the yichi means. I guess the receiving the godly energy. It's not to lechem levada. It's not only chitzenis. We get to the chitzenis. We get the pnimis. That was source number one to prove the point, to illustrate and prove the point that now after Matan Torah we learn nigla, we also get the pnimis. The second one was from the expression dvorai shasamti beficha dvorai, and the psitur in Malchus Atzilus, Malchus Da'ak, which it's like a little open-ended. I think the kavana is that's a very high. I think what he's trying to say is a very high madrig. I think that's what he's saying here. And beficha means in your mouth, which is so we can say that dvorai beficha also. He doesn't say it explicitly here. Also represents the dvorai, which is the pnimius, is beficha in the chitzenis. That's not point two. Then about point three, the way the Torah operates, it's a chaim and it's a das, which is also like gali and sosim, and the others it's a das, which is nigla Torah. Others nigla Torah have the power, the power to do the actual biurim, to tell us what's Torah, what's Tameh, what's also mutter. That itself is with the power of the pnimis, it's a chaim. So that's so the point is, like I said, okay, already jumps ahead a step higher. Until now, he spoke that sourcing the rice is called Torah, but that's no more than that. Sourcing the kutchabrich. Not only the gali the Torah, sourcing the Torah, it also has sourcing the kutchabrich. Like we said before, the sourcing the kutchabrich is directly connected to the sourcing the rice. It doesn't elaborate that. I'll reiterate my point again. That this is a hanocha. So it's possible that some words are not missing. It's in other words, it's not the lashon Rebbe Rashab himself wrote. The Rebbe Rashab spoke and somebody wrote it down. Maybe either if he missed some words or he did not write it properly, so it can be medayik and the words it's somewhere. That's how I feel it. Okay. So now he goes into, he elaborates that point itself we just said about Torah. Torah is the mamutza. That's what he said originally. Torah is so Torah is the thing that connects our reality with Eibush. But the connection itself, the mamutza, intermediary, the interface, we know Chassidus always talks about the two types of mamutza. The mamutza of Torah is not like the mamutza of Seder Shtaros. The mamutza of Seder Shtaros means like Atzilus. Atzilus is the mamutza between us and between Oilus and Ritus. The mamutza of Torah is different. What are the different? The mamutza of Seder Shtaros is shemasi b'shnei dvarim shemechaber. K'moel dach mashna metugma. So now he brings a raya from a translator. Not a mushroom translated something which he calls it mamutza mafsik, I think. Yeah? The Meturgaman, the translator, and also the Meturgaman in the olden days, there used to be Meturgaman, like they used to read the Torahs, and the community did not speak the language, not understand. So after each pasuk, after each part, I'm not sure each passage, each part that the person, the teacher read, the Meturgamon used to translate it, not just translate verbatim. He used to explain it to the community. Now, this is a marshal we use a lot of time. Let's see what here I talked a little about it. When the teacher and the student are not on the same level, so put up a translator, another better word for it. What happens? Meturgaman listens to the teacher, and he receives from the teacher the chitzenis hasech, means that part of the sechel of the teacher so to speak, lower themselves to the state of teaching. So it's only an external expression. Even that itself, it doesn't tell it verbatim to the teacher, to the students as is. Why? It's impossible for them to receive what the teacher gave. There was he understands well what the teacher said. From the teacher's perspective, it doesn't contain the full depth of the concept the way the teacher understands it, but still he gave the external the understanding the way he understands it to the meturgaman, to the intermediary translator. So what happens is the meturgaman he digests and comprehends fully that concept until it becomes his own. That's how he says it in Misachim. Step 2, he digests it in his own mind, and he gives over to the students the way he thinks they can handle it. The Mela, what happens here? That's very interesting, because I think in a lot of places I'll say this, the Meturgaman is used as if I remember correctly, the Meturgaman is used as a marshal at Mutza Machaber. That here in our Maimah, as this the Lashon goes, he digs deeper, he splits it more. The real translator is Taka Mafsik. He's like he's an intermediary that blocks the full effect of the original. His function is to separate. Let's give another mashal. Let's say if the standard mashal. If you look at the sun with the naked eye, the sun will burn the eye. What do? He puts sunglasses. He puts something that blocks the full effect. So that's a machzik. That's also standard mashal says. But in this situation, it says because in order for that meturgaman to give it over to the students in a way that they will be able to relate to it, that's not going to blow them away, it's not going to go over their head. He has to digest the concept in his own way and find words in his own words how to relate it to the student. They should be able to relate to it, to understand it. The melee is called a mutza machs. His function is to what is the word? To block, to weaken the full force of the concept. Torah is not. So this in the Nimshul, he's jumping back from the Marshal Nimshul. He said what he said before. Seder Shtar. What is the function? Seder Shtar. Why in order to create the world? Not why. How does it work? The Debshter created Elam Atzilus and then created our world. Why? Because in other words, if there be a direct creation of reality, direct without an intermediary, reality would not be able to tolerate any godliness. It will be totally separate. They weren't able to, so that's why there was a mamutza, a mafsi. The Eibishter created the system in a way that there is a low grade type of gilui, which is for the sake of argument, I think that's what it says. In other places, the spheres of Hatzilus, he created concepts that are called wisdom, kindness, beauty, etc. And then through that, he created the world. So our world can relate to godliness, to see the beauty of godliness, the strength, the wisdom. So there's an intermediary that blocks, its functions to block. But the mutza of Torah is not like that. So it's a memutza, but not mafsi. No, its function is still to be an intermediary. But because we still can't have a direct line. But the way it brings down is as is. It doesn't block. Which is a concept that requires it's a little subtle thing, because the whole point of a memutza is to create a certain separation. But he says this is the type of memutza which doesn't create a separation. And it jumps out of it to Moshe. Moshe says, Moshe Rabbeinu, same thing happened. One of the main events of the sinners of Torah. How do we get the Torah? Moshe. Torah tzal on Moshe. Moshe was, so to say, didn't speak directly to every Yid. He spoke to Moshe. So Moshe was the mamutz. Right? He said, Loi hoyam mutza maxi. When Moshe spoke, the fact that he spoke did not have the effect of blocking, of separating. Okay, so we have a proof from a text. It doesn't help us understand it, but we have a text to prove it. The Eibishter spoke directly to Moshe's mouth. So it's not mafsik. The Shechina speaks to him. So that's all he gives us here. You have to try to find some kind of marshal to understand. I mean, you can find them showing that I don't know how much it helps. Let's say if like in the marshal of the Meturgaman, right? If we're speaking about, if you talk about people who are lower level students, young students, or ignorant people, so it's not enough to translate. It's not enough to translate the language from the language of the original to their language. You have to put it into different words. You have to. But let's look at it differently. You come to I don't know if you can say it. Actually, we can say it also in Limudei Kodesh. In Limudei Kodesh, it's more common. Let's say Limudei Kodesh. Some people don't understand Yiddish. They all understand Hebrew, right? They are very big Lamdanim, Talmid Chacham, and everything, but they happen not another language. So there's a person in between who translates. That just translates the language. He translates from one language to another. I think, in a way at least, that may be a mashal of a Mutzah Chaber, because he doesn't put any change in the actual idea. The idea is exactly the same, because he's not talking to people who are not shiur. I mean, in the Nimshal is not the same, maybe in that part, but as a marshal, it's good. So he's talking memutza. They happen not to know the language, so he needs to translate it from one language to another. For the listeners who happen not to know the language, they should know what's going on. But it doesn't have to lower the standard of the concept, because there's no need for that, right? So that maybe that can be a good marshal on the concept of Mutzah Mechaber, because he doesn't change any content here. He doesn't lower the level, etc. He just he's just a person who happens to know about languages and he has to translate one language to another. I mean, if you talk to professional translators, they'll disagree probably, because even translation one language to another also has a lot of nuances. But as a general marshal, I think it's good enough. The problem with this marshal is that in the nimshal we have zero way of understanding the meaning of it. In other words, elikus is nisgala to us, right? That itself we don't know what it means, right? But in that gufa, basically there are two ways we get elikus. One is to a blocking factor that diminishes the effect, and one is a direct statement. So Torah, the way it's given to Moshe, to Matan Torah, that's the second way, that it's direct as is. And if you want to look at it in a very simplistic way, we can actually maybe have some way of explaining it. But the Eibster created the laws of nature. So we look at the laws of nature. It's unbelievable, the wonder of it. But still, to us, we feel it's just system. We don't feel godliness there. So that blocks. A person can mistakenly think, oh, this is just this is nature. You don't see God. But when you open the Torah says, it's direct. It's a direct message from God. Not really, nature is also a direct message, but the message is hidden in a way that we can see through it. The message there. But in Torah, it's all obvious. Everything in the Torah is a direct message from the Eibishter. It's an extremely simplistic illustration of the concept I just said before, the difference between the way it said Mutzav Ishtaris and Mutzav Torah. Okay, now going back. Shezeo, okay, now he's going to now he's discussing a new starting a little new discussion about the concept with the whole Maimon started with last show with Kashan Dovido. So the question, last show. So now we're gonna do what we just said. Now in other words, the whole Chiddush Matan Torah, that we have a direct line. Actually, that's Ma'um is in the Lashon of the classic show, which is those are the famous questions that Chassidus is full of, and everybody's asking. When you take three items they want to connect to each other, how many ties do we need? Only two. Item one, the next item two, item two, the next item three. So why do we say classic showing? Why do we need three ties? Right. So it's a very famous question. So they have like So where does the two tie come in here? The answer to what is Shnai? In other words, the way it works before Matan Torah. Like we said earlier, before we came to the Chiddush in the page Nishlam at the base, calls the Moshe Torah, Achin and Sinas Torah. So before that he said, how does it work? Skash's name is Neshama, is the Torah. Name is the Torah of Nizgal, the Shabrich. So we have only two. So what are the three? Like I just said before, when you want to tie three items together, you only need two ties, you don't need three. So what does it say? What's the Lashon class showing? So that is explained now. Kesha Gimel Ein Sheknes Chitzen is the Neshama Shesa Knesas Mikot Shebrich Chasasim B'Torah. But we just the Chiddush of Matan Torah again. So if you want to visualize it, if you have two things that are connected, three parts that are connected, we only need two ties. But if the two other items are also connected directly like in a circle, then you have three ties. So that's what he says. There's a direct line from Chitzonius of his soul to Pnimis the Kutshabrichu. That's the third kesher. We have to. It's funny how we have the marshal is from an extremely physical item, but the nimshal brings out a very deep point. The third kasha, basically, according to the way I understand it now, that's what happened in Matan Torah. The way it was before, it was two showing. He saw the rest of the eyes, now it's a good comes the third kasha, which basically that's the Chiddush Matan Torah, which is the direct connection. Again, think about the chain. So the three rings in a chain. The bottom chain and the top chain connect, let's say, not to the middle one, directly on the side. That is the kasha agila. Is neshama is everything the sasim Torah. The sasim Torah part is not so, doesn't fit in the mashal of the tabor of the kshorim, but the concept is that's the Chiddush Matan Torah, that we have a direct line from Chitzanis, the neshama is direct line to Pnimis the Kushbur. This is the main chiddush of the class show. So that explains why Matan Torah. We just said, oh, this chiddush Matan Torah. That's Matan Torah. It's called Chiyam Chasunose. What does Chasun mean? It's a gila astima of Matan Torah. Chasun means that the Chasun and the Kali unite. So it means, in other words, now in this particular, let's say Chasun. Maybe there's also a few ways to look at it too, but let's say the Chasun is the Eibishter Kaviyachol, Mukras that's a Chapasin, the Eden and the Kala. They unite directly. So that the Chitzain is they soul connect directly to Pnimis the Kushbur. So that's almost in the Lashon, in the Mishnah of Tainis. Be'em Chasanos is Matan Torah. So he says like this. So till now we established that Matan Torah was the gila of there was the expression of the sasim to Kushbur. The init tzorich liyos mikol kam tzarich gila b'chinas sasim. Okay, I'll repeat for the 10th time that it's a hanocha. So I'm not sure how this was said, but it looks to me like he's starting a new point here. That the sasim, anything that's sasim is be'etzem hidden, right? But the ultimate purpose is that the hidden part should also be revealed. The concept of Torah Bichlal, what was the point of Torah? Should be revealed. Torah is Presidigo Vasogada. Torah, the way Torah relates to us is in a way that we should understand it. It should be received and captured by us. It shouldn't stay in a state of makif, surrounding. Lachin, the Torah Pnes Pnimis, mitzvahs of Pnes Makif, and Torah Pnes Pnimis. Okay, the mem lamed here, I'm not sure exactly what it means. So it brings in the Tanya Perek Hey. Remember Tanya Perek I mentioned earlier. And we learned it also in the Pima earlier. The mile of Torah of mitzvahs. My mitzvah is a maki, mitzvah of Drushim, and Torah is pnimis. Torah is internalized. It's one of the differences in maki and pnimis. Maki is something which is surrounding, around, and it's not digested. For example, think about the example. The person does a mitzvah, let's say. Person shakes the lulav, puts on film, right? So he's doing an act that the Eibush told him to do. But to the naked eye, let's say an outside person never heard of tzitzis and tefillin, but passes by and he sees if somebody is wearing tzitzis. He doesn't know what it is. Nothing means nothing to him because we happen to know because you learn. But a person who doesn't know, it's an external thing. He doesn't. It doesn't announce, I am Torah. I am, we know that this is Eibishter's, but it's not in the open. When the person learns, so the statement itself says godliness. I mean, that's only one of the dogmas, but it's a way to illustrate how Torah is not, they're like cool, the godliness in Torah is not b'pnimis, it's internalized, it's not just mak. So the mele, he goes on a little bit, לכן התורה נסלח של פניסייסיס, נשאף שאין לשחס והסוגר, וכן התורה פניס גיל, שאף שאין לשחס והסוגר, וכן התורה פניס גיל, לכן נסלח של פניסייסיס. זה שיעור פניס גיל. Oh gosh, okay. Okay, the writing is pretty schwach. Again, he says Torah is a very high level. Even I think maybe he means to say that even the person, maybe he's trying to say here, even the person who is not in the shaykh, this person is not Amoritz, even here he hears word. Maybe that's in the shaykh, I'm not sure. It's me. לכן יש אפשר כנסייס, אבל יש שיעור כנס גיל. גיל לקוי. לכן שלוקה מדרגס במורי תורה. So the fact he's bringing another dogma, another example, illustration of the fact that Torah's pnimis and mitzvahs are not. That in Mori Torah there's difference. There's a difference. There's a Talmid Chacham who is Mori Torah Kula. There's madregas Talmid Chacham. They're lahiris, and then the person is lower. So it comes to Torah, there's difference between people. The mitzvahs are called Shabbat. Mashenke the mitzvah that the simple person does, and the most holy person does the same mitzvah. He's putting out film. He's wearing tzitzis. The mitzvah is the same. There's no essential difference in the mitzvah. The shamitzvah ain't a guilt. And brings in another point. The mitzvah's lav lenis nit. Famous Gemara that says that certain things that are not, you're not allowed to have a noah from, you can have do mitzvahs with them. Why? Because mitzvahs level is not. Mitzvahs are not meant to fast to give a noah from them. We just do it, the Eibishter tells us to do it. That's the simple meaning of Gemara. But Chassidus uses it on here in this Maimon and in other places, uses that statement, mitzvahs level is needed to bring out another point. That mitzvahs are not meant to be internalized. There's something, they're makik, they're above gil. Just lawyer that sometimes we do talk about madregas and mitzvahs, but generally speaking, comparing mitzvahs to Torah is more internalized, pnimi, mitzvahs is above internalization, above gil pnimis. B'meile, the mitzvah same knesset and such a knesset gil. Lachem is akal shavin. No, Torah knesset gil. So what do we see? He just introduced a new thing to tell us Torah be'etzem. Torah as an entity, as a defined thing, a defined I don't know what object applies to it. Defined system concept. Torah is something by definition means something which is understood, internalized, digested, as opposed to mitzvahs. Mele, why he brings this entire discussion to make the point. The Mele in Cain, that's what he's finishing. The Mele, since that's what Torah is, even though we said that Torah has two parts, Gali and Sasi, one part of Torah is hidden. But because Torah by definition is Gilui, so even the hidden part of Torah must be revealed. Sorechli is Gilui. The Begali, the Torah, שגם בזה יש כנס הסוסים כשבריך אחרי זה באל. When it comes to God, we said earlier, after Matan Torah, even the God that tells the is a Baal, but it's hidden. Like I illustrated earlier, when you say No, it's another point that the difference between Nigla and Chassidus, that in learn halacha, it doesn't deal directly with the likus. It's behel. Well, Cain Tzachlias deal with the we have to reveal the hidden part. Kashem shebeter yesh chiluk. So earlier we said that Torah more tells the differences. Yes, that's the way. In Torah, you're talking about even in the middle of the Torah, there's a difference. Okay, I must say these few lines were written very cryptically, but I think the point is making is the same point, that the Torah must have a level of Gil of the Sas. Okay, now he brings in a new. Okay, so he finished making one point. Finished making the point that the Sasim Deiraisa also must be Bizgals. Now he brings another mashal. So we need the Sasim and Gilui. The Sasim and Gilui have to go together. That's the point he's making. Then we have no mashal. Mashal b'ksharim gashim we see in the physical world when you have to tie something and you want to make sure that the tie stays. If they shiur kasher shakayim, it's like last shnei ksharim. That we know that Milchas Shabbos. One of the Lamadas Malachim is a kasher, right? So if you tie something once, it's not considered kasher. It's not a kasher because kasher sheni shakayim. It's going to be untied automatically. In order to stay, the tie should stay. So it's shnei ksharim kasher shakayim. That's Allah in Milchas Shabbos. So what is it? Nimshul kamayim over is shleima shukuna sasim galiter. That is what he's getting at. So in order for the connection of his soul to be proper, it's not enough to be one cash, it's going to be two kshorim. So this two kshorim, he says in this iteration of the marshal, two kshorim are Sasim and Gali, two parts of the Sasim and Gali. Okay, these are the two parts, Sasim and Gali. But we have both Gali and Sasim. That ensures the connection of the soul contribution. Then there's another explanation. What are the two kshorim? The kshorim of the two kshorim that connect Yisrael with the Eibishter to Torah. That's the two kshorim are not what we just said here. Sasim Begalia, the two parts of Torah, Sasim Begalia, Pnimis and Chitzenius, but Avavir, Law of Hashem and Awe of Hashem, two parts. The discussion on Shem Zikash Baruch or the Avavir. The way connected to is only to Avavir. They rise to the Chiluchim, or Parchalayil, Avavir, okay. This is the famous Zaya. Rise to the Chiluchim. The person wants to without Avavir, without is emotional investment, emotional connection of experiencing an emotion of love, yearning for the Eibishter, or fear of the Eibishter. That is Torah stays with him. It doesn't fly like it says in Tanya Limit this. It's a marshal of a bird. A bird without wings cannot fly. These are the wings. So the Tchilochimot, the Avavir are like wings. That make us fly, and it's flying in the sense of connecting Leila with the Eibishter. So the connection, the rise, that's what the Zayah said, without Chiluchimu, without connecting to the Eibishter, without having the emotional two connection there. That doesn't connect, doesn't work. So that's another marshal of the basic shot. But at Tzad, now is the most interesting thing. At Tzad Shabbos, when he says, that's the key point. That, like it says, that's all. that's a big chunk of Tanya is about. How do we get Ava V'ira? What is the Chabad, and Chabad based on the Rambam? The Rambam, he said that Maya Derech LaRoseh B'Shor She's Boinim. The way Ava V'ira, how do we reach Ava V'ira? Only to sus in their eyes. If a person learns Shnaim Eirsin or Shor Shnakas Apora, that's not going to get him Ava V'ira. Because it's taka Allah's neighbors, etc., etc. But it doesn't. There's nothing here that triggers a strong feeling of avavir. What brings avavir? Sasim de'aisa. When you learn chassidus, pnimis ater. You learn pnimis ater, whose entire the topics are to discuss Gadlus Hashem, like the Rambam says, b'shar she's born in b'masav, but in chassidus. That creates avavir. So, but okay, that's it's a given. That's a simple understanding of the entire. That's all Siddur Chabad is about. That is bring avavir, and that connects us to the Eibush. Now, but here now, Maimah, what he's doing here, first he said it took shoy ma'asas in Gali. What does Gali mean? So I think in the Nimshul, the Gali is the first kesher. Gali is the first tie that can be untied. The second kesher is the sasi. In other words, the mind of this learning pnimius. And now this in the second explanation of the big Shem Avavir, it's also connected to sosim. Outside the shov of both explanations is that in order to have the second kesher, the kesher shel kayoma, we must have sosim there. Pnimius. This is what he's. I think this is what he's getting at. Ve'ine b'shvuos. Okay, now let's go a step back. Shvuos means Matan Torah, oz hoyeg ikema gilut nesgali the Torah. Shvuos, what did the Eibush give us? That's Seres HaDibros. What does it say? Seres HaDibros. The 10 mitzvahs which are halacha, gali the Torah, something you built. The alichas havedet zor, if it's kibbutz, if it's Shabbos, if it's gneiva, that's halachas havedet zor, right? Halachas nidl. Within these statements, within the Seres HaDibros, because even I just brought the Seres HaDibros, which is the most obvious, but Torah in general, the Torah was given to us, Matan Torah, the Torah. But within it is even Sasim. Aser be'elim. The Ikar of the Gilur was from this Galia. Is Gal's Sasim or R'Dovid? Okay, now we're coming back to our mind. The mind of Lovin in R'Dovid. Who is the one who revealed the actual Pnimius HaTorah? That is R'Dovid, the Zohar. R'Dovid wrote a book Zohar, and then the Zohar is Megala Pnimius HaTorah. Okay, all right, we'll continue tomorrow. I remember Stam. I remember what the opposite. I think even the letter the Rebbe brings Chasam Sefer, if I remember correctly, that actually according to one medrash, but Matan Torah was the Gilui, but the regular Matan Torah was according to the medrash, what was the Merkava El came. That's really Pnimius. Okay, but that's al Hadrash. Al Pshat. What he says is Pshat. The Pshat is what do we get Matan Torah? The Seres HaDibros, the halachas, all the halachas, practical halachas, what how to behave. Not the gilubs, not the pnimis. That's a pshat. But it's not lahoy.
Shkaya.